Hello, you're welcome to the Magnate. Today we shall focus on waste management, or should we say, turning our waste to wealth. We have somebody whose name is synonymous with that, at least in Lagos State, and has also added value in the entire nation and even globally. A background report will tell you who our Magnate for the week is. We'll come back to have an interactive section with him. We'll be back shortly.
Mr. Oladimeji Oresanya, a notable Nigerian and a recognized authority in waste management and environmental development in Nigeria and Africa at large. He is well-read academically with various qualifications from local to international diplomas and first degree, BSc and Masters respectively, from the University of Ibadan in geology. Also, he is there to acquire PhD degree in environmental management and ecology from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, PhD in view. A former student of Harvard University, Massachusetts, USA, and of Liverpool Polytechnic, UK. Is still a part-time lecturer in waste management and toxicology, University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. His contributions in service, locally and internationally, cannot be overemphasized, as he added value in different capacities to the development of Nigeria environment. Known for his numerous awards locally and internationally, with several honorary degrees for his work in sustainable waste and environmental management, has chosen to extend his wealth of knowledge, as he had published a lot of books on his field and has presented over 500 professional papers on waste management issues, locally and internationally, respectively.
You're welcome back. It's still the Magnate, and we are chatting with the environmental consultant himself that has really added value locally and internationally. We have with us as a Magnate for the week, Mr. Oladimeji Oresanya. Thank you very much for still joining us.
Thank you.
You know, there's this slogan when you talk of MDG, developmental goals, sustainable development goals. While I was reading your profile and a lot about you, I had 2030. What has waste management got to do with sustainable development? Is it by 2030 we won't have any refuse in our environment, or we will convert virtually all refuse to wealth?
Well, yeah, the benchmark for 2030 is that by that time, we're supposed to have evolved the strategy that will ensure that we live in a more sustainable manner. Like I told you, if you cannot handle your waste properly, you're not living sustainably. God has given us this brain to see that we have emerging waste. We have ways that are coming out of our own innovative living. For example, the cell phones we're using right now. We're living in a technology age right now. And the byproduct of this technology, you have a lot of electronic products that are very injurious to human health if they are not properly handled. You have batteries. Most of these cell phones we're using, TV, cameras, whatever you're using right now, you have batteries, you have these cells in them that have to be disposed of properly because they're made up of very, very dangerous chemicals. So there are emerging products, there are new things that are coming up, and we need to develop our brain and our skill also to address those new things. So we have to be forward-looking to make sure that we make our lives more sustainable, because if we don't do that, waste will deal with us. You know, for example, the climate change we're talking about, the byproduct of burning release of methane into the air is affecting the climate change. One of the potent ozone depleting substances that is causing all the climate change issues. So we just have to make sure that we do something. All right, and we're just dumping refuse in dump site, and we're eating up the lands that could be used for the arable land. They're dumping refuse in them, and the refuse are not being turned into other useful things. So we're only saying that we're not living sustainably. So SDG, Sustainable Development Goals, is to make sure that what input, what knowledge are we bringing to the fore that will make our life more sustainable. And that we've set our target for ourselves. By 2030, Nigeria, I think our goal should be to have attained a stage where 60% of our daily municipal waste is converted into new products. And that is business on its own. Some people must be thinking on how to recycle, upcycle, and reuse and reduce and whatever. So All these things means more job.
Okay.
It's all about economics.
Now, the question is, do we know that we can turn our waste to wealth? For instance, you talked about dump site. That's how some of us grew up. We just have a place, we go and dump, and sometimes it may even be for the land or against it. How much of awareness do people have of this?
Well, I think the awareness is growing, and what will stimulate the awareness is the economics.
Okay.
If I know I'm going to make money somewhere in Timbuktu, I'll go there. Those who go to Timbuktu for gold, they know there's a knowledge that if you dig so well in Timbuktu, you will get gold. So until the economics is right, and I think that's where knowledge comes in. So the policy drivers, the policy makers needs to get the knowledge that will make sure that waste conversion becomes an asset that you don't need to tell people. People will come looking for it. So if you're still begging people to come and do it, still persuading people, it's because we have not gotten the economics right. Okay. So when you see the young man who couldn't get job, and all of a sudden, because he's converting plastics, he was picking plastic and turning them, all of a sudden he started driving Jeep. Nobody needs to tell me that his colleagues will start running to start picking bottles.
Okay.
So what we should focus now, like some of us are, look, let us get the economic equation of recycling. Let's get it right. That is the sustainable component of it. Economics drives sustainability. When I know I can make money from it, I will do it. Nobody needs to beg me.
Okay.
You now see people going to music because you're seeing that, oh, my colleague who went to school had a PhD, he kept singing and is making money from songs. So you now have young people now want to go into music. Why do young people want to play football? In those days, if they find you playing football, they will beat a lot of you. You're a dropout, your colleagues are reading, you are playing football. You now see parents now paying money for their children to football academy. And say, look, leave book. Oh, yeah, go to football academy. Because the economics of football is right. So the same thing with recycling. All we need to do is to make sure that we get the economics correct. Okay. And once the economics is right, every other thing will follow.
I make Breton soap, oat and milk, herbal, organic fruit baths, organic black soaps, and the hand wash, dish wash, toilet wash, insecticides. Well, it was actually a free skill acquisition like this island at the Redeem Evangelical Mission, TREM, at Anthony O'Kare Road. We're taught that, and after that, I kick-started the business. Well, in any business, there's always the up and down, but I always make sure to follow up customers, to get feedback, and then try to improve on whatever the complaints are. My advice is starting a business can be challenging. Sometimes it looks like nothing is selling, and then the feedback you get from customers can be discouraging too. But for every feedback, to me, there's a lesson to learn. So it's just to pick up whatever mistakes you made, improve on it. And then sometimes you can even give things out free to people to try it out. I've done that many times. Okay, I made this, it's an improved version of what I made. Try it out and see. It will cost you, but it's worth the sacrifice. Just be focused, learn, and be good at what you do per time.
Okay, let me use your language, the structure. Is there a proper structure in place? Because what you're talking about, some people are doing it. They call themselves, or they call them scavengers. They go about picking things from dump site and all that. But there's also a hazard, and health hazard. Is there a structure in place to tell people that you can do this and make money from it?
Lagos is leading the pack in this whole history, and Lagos is going to launch what we call a Blue Box program very soon. All right, that's a structure that will scale up all this. And what does the Blue Box program does is now is to change the direction of scavenging.
The narratives.
The narratives in scavenging. What are scavengers doing? They go to the dump to pick valuable discarded materials and scavenge the real thing from the rubbish. Now, what the Blue Box program intends to do right now is to make every housewife to sort waste out the kitchen.
Okay.
So, and what you will do is that an incentive that goes along with that. Lagos State government is expected to give blue bags to every household.
But you started that some years ago.
Yes, I did. But right now, they have to scale it up.
Okay.
We are not able to scale it up then, but the Lagos State government is going to scale it up. Some other state government may want to change the name of their own bags, call it purple bag, call it blue bag, call it...
so long as a bag.
Always a bag. You give a household free bag to put dry recyclables. The recyclables we are talking about is the PET bottles and paper and cans.
Okay.
Put them inside those bags. And you now have the waste managers, the PSP that comes to your house. There are recyclers that will be registered for local government.
Okay.
And these are the people that will have been given coupons. When they pick your bag, they give you a coupon. And that coupon you use in paying for the PSP. So that you don't pay cash the PSP, you just get a coupon. Your neighbors who is not recycling will need to pay money. But you that you are recycling, you just pay with a coupon. So you're doing it free. I get you, mean. There was a time we wanted to do it at Oyo State that time. And I grew up knowing what we call Onikparo. This is exactly what they were doing. And I grew up to know that my juniors, my siblings, baby can. We don't throw them away, we store them. Because we have people that will come to collect these cans and broken plastics and I create whatever they call them. And what they do, they exchange bowl, they exchange cooler, they exchange this.
I remember too.
That exactly. That means this thing has been with us. We're just a bit careless about it. So the structure now, government is coming back with the structure of incentives. So that encourage people so that you now have coupon. When you sort at your household level and this thing is being collected, you get a coupon that you can use in exchange for something. So that is starting in Lagos, and some other states also have a significant interest, and we are there to support them to start and change the face of waste management in Nigeria.
That would really be nice, sir, because, and I hope it will be holistic in the sense that whatever you are doing, there seems to be a lot of emphasis on the urban areas. Even presently, when you talk of waste management, waste disposal, there's neglect in the suburb and the interiors, which now necessitate people dumping their refuse in canals, which of course we know the eventual problem that will lead to blocking the drainages and overflow of some of these rivers. What is really, if I may ask, as a follow-up, PSP you talked about, what's the difference between Loma and Vision Scale?
Well, before going to that, let me just give a hint about the neglect in the rural area, the interiors. Okay, the interiors are now, I can classify the interiors into two.
Okay.
We have the suburban and we have the rural.
Okay.
All right. Waste management is an urban problem because of the clusters.
Okay.
The urban areas are fully developed, so you don't have open spaces that you can easily dispose of. So the clusters compels that we have to manage the waste responsibly. All right, so that is why most governments will always focus first on the urban areas. And recovery of cost and everything is easier in the urban area. The impact is easier in the urban area. Now, let's go to the rural area. Rural area, go to our villages, they are clean. They're clean, they are cleaner than the cities. People in the rural areas, naturally, they care for the environment. You breathe fresh air. They have a way of treating their waste traditionally. They are very clean area. Now, where you have the problem is the suburban. The suburban are people who have their aspirations could not be met living in the cities. And because they're angry with themselves, with the city, they live in the suburban, and they make a mess of the suburban. So where you have the problem generally in waste management, the outer ring of the urban, which is the suburban area. We have open spaces that belongs to nobody there, and they dump refuse there out of their annoyance or whatever. They dump it and they go. They don't have a sense of belonging. All right, they may not be able to do it within the urban area because there's no space to hide. Yeah, there are controls there. And so suburban area, yes, you have this menace in the suburban area, the outer rings to the main cities. But rural area, you don't have a problem of waste management in rural area.
Okay, because there are some places where the vehicles are supposed to go collect refuse in payment. They complain about bad roads. And
Suburban are deprived. Naturally, they're deprived. That is where you have people settling ahead of government ever thinking of getting there.
Okay.
So they make their own road, they make their own thing, and they're very, very angry with the society.
Okay, not too many people know that yes, some of these ways can be scientifically, turned to wealth. For instance, I was privileged to go to Sunrise Farm some years ago in Port Novo, yeah, and the way they channel their waste, human waste, to energy was quite, quite commendable. So I don't know the other scientific way we can treat our waste for people to know that this is something that can even turn to wealth for them.
Well, if you recall at the beginning of this discussion, I told you there's nothing called waste in its absolute sense.
Okay.
It's a resource in motion. There's nothing called waste. It's a lack of understanding of the alternative use to the discarded material.
Alternative use.
Yeah, that turn it into waste. So if you have knowledge about that material you are discarding, then you can use it for, there's a secondary application from the point of extinction of use, the primary usage. There's always a secondary application.
Okay.
So it is that lack of understanding. And what we're trying to do these days is to deploy technology to be able to advertise discarded resources because somebody somewhere with the knowledge is waiting, looking for that material you are disposing of.
Okay.
There's some people that are waiting to buy electronic chipboards, the discarded chipboards, because that's exactly what they want to use for their own thing. There are people waking up every day looking for discarded batteries, because that is what is going to give
raw
meaning
materials
to raw materials. So there's an app we've developed called the Waste Vine.
Okay.
All right, the Waste Vine, it's where you go and you mine the waste. All right, is an e-mining. You go and mine from somebody's backyard. Somebody has stock of tires. You just want somebody to just take it away, and it will put it on Waste Vine, and somebody's ever looking for that, so they go and get it there.
So will it be ready?
Waste Vine should be up and alive in about a few weeks' time.
Okay, good. Now there's a question pending: difference between Visionscape and Loma, without going into any controversy.
Well, yes, Visionscape was a company that Lagos State government gave a kind of a concession to manage the waste in the city of Lagos, and public waste was given to manage. I think so many things went wrong. The structure that was supposed to manage that system was tampered with.
Okay.
So, and you can't have a contract floating, and there was no direction. You know, like you have people playing football without a referee. It's all about anarchy you are looking for. So, and I think that's exactly what happened. Loma was supposed to be the referee, and the referee was incapacitated And the resulting effect was the anarchy.
Okay.
So nobody to guide Visionscape and several other players. It was not Visionscape alone. Visionscape was just the main company. There are several other players. Even the PSP were playing, and there are several other companies who were given various concessions. The real referee was tampered with, and I think that was Loma.
And you also were brought in to be the referee this time.
Yes, exactly. So to now restore the referee and make sure the referee, look, Mr. Referee, this is exactly what the rest supposed to do. Empower that referee, and you'll enjoy the match. And I think that's exactly what I've done.
Congratulations. Maybe you say waste management for you, it's not just even states or immediate environment. I can say that you even adding value and collaborating with some tertiary institutions.
Exactly.
So that means virtually everybody needs this knowledge.
Yes, and I think what we've been able to do with most of our institutions, and what led us to the institution is that at our most, for example, we have a university where we have about 13,000 student population right in the university. And you can imagine 13,000 people dropping a piece of paper each day and a PET bottle each day. The quantum, the volume of recyclable material from those institutions, that's what we're doing right now. And I think for one of these institutions, we've been able to turn their headache and into assets. So on a monthly basis, they are making close to about ₦1 million from the discarded papers and PET bottles alone. We're able to turn it around and assist them to sell them, and we do the collection and sell. And they're making money from what the students were throwing away. So it's not just about
controlling waste.
Controlling waste. It's about making
turning into wealth.
Yes, asset out of the waste, and I think we've done that successfully.
Thank you so much. Really glad that you gave us this opportunity to chat with you.
Thank you very much.
You probably want to mentor somebody out there. This program is about growing the young ones in the business. What's your counsel for the young ones? In fact, you have counsel for virtually everybody. There's nothing that is wasted. Final word, sir.
Let me even congratulate the younger ones now. Why am I congratulating them? Is that Nigeria has so much problems now. And that problem is a prospect waiting to be honest. And I think the younger ones, all you need to do right now, put on your thinking caps and be a solution provider rather than being the problem.
That's our chat. We've had quite an interesting and interactive session with our magnate for the week, Mr. soon to become Dr. Oladimeji Oresanya, the very, very much renowned GM of Loma years back, has also been a consultant with Loma, and now is the environmental consultant with Globetech Remedia Nigeria Limited. We thank him very much for obliging us. Make it a day with us same time next week when we shall bring you an equally interesting package on the Magnate. Until then, keep watching the program on this station. Bye for now.